Hello, my name's Claire, this is Peachy Keen Pans. Welcome back. I am going to be doing a declutter today, a declutter of all of my single eyeshadows, as well as of my single face products. I have a tendency to avoid decluttering any single shadows because out of all of the makeup products that I own, I think of them the most as kind of utilitarian and functional, and the idea of ending up with gaps in my collection because of decluttering a shadow, even if I'm not using it very much, kind of irks me. So what I wanted to do with this video was go through and actually cull the ones that are just not getting used and the ones that are not going to get used. So yeah, I will jump right into it and you can see how that goes. I think what I'm gonna do, my plan is to fill up this magnetic palette with eyeshadows that are sort of a hypothetical declutter, and then decide once that's filled up if I'm actually going to declutter, and if so, am I going to sell, am I going to throw out, or am I going to pass on to a friend? Because I guess that's another reason that I haven't decluttered a lot of single eyeshadows, is that most of my friends would not own a single magnetic palette, and I don't feel that you can really give someone a single eyeshadow without giving them something to put it in. So I'm definitely, I'd be happy to part with this palette if need be. And I think that's, what I will be using for the time being. So I will start with this. This is kind of an unusual one, but this is a blush and highlight compact. So I'll talk you through what everything is. So first of all, this is a Wet n Wild highlighter in Blossom Glow. It was one of those shadows that like every single person on YouTube from like 2018 had in their collection, and so naturally I bought it. And when I say every single person, I mean every pale person especially. I feel like all the people who were like, I'm pale and it's hard to find makeup that suits me, had this highlighter, and so for that reason I bought it. You know, in the end was like, oh, I don't want this crappy packaging that it came in, so I just like sandwiched or cookie cutter, like pressed this pan into the other pan, and then now I have this as part of this little compact that I made. This one is a loose shadow that I pressed from Femme Fatale, and I think it's pretty atrocious as an eyeshadow. I mean, from my preferences and from my perspective, I don't like it. It's very powdery and very subtle. Like I just wouldn't need, I wouldn't be ever looking for that kind of degree of subtlety for myself. And even as a highlighter, to be honest, I could kind of take it or leave it. So that's one, to be honest, I'm going to get my little pin out so that I can pop this out, that I would consider getting rid of. That's like a maybe for me. Because I don't mind it, like in this quad, because this is basically a red blush and a yellow blush. Both of them are Franken products that I made myself out of other things, out of a mixture of eyeshadows and powders. But I feel what I have here is like cool toned blush and highlight, and then warm toned blush and highlight, like a red and a yellow. So it makes sense to keep this in here. However, I don't actually love it as a standalone thing. So what I think I'm going to do is pop that out and like put it in the potential declutter pile. Yeah, okay. So I'll pop that aside because I'm happy with all the others. And what I'll do is I'll take what's in here out, which is a Physicians Formula blush and a Franken bronzer that I made. I'll be keeping both of these. I think they're totally fine and quite nice. So I will pop this in here as a potential to declutter. Okay, now continuing on. Next up I have, this one actually is definitely the biggest offender in terms of singles that I do not love. So I never touch these, like, because they're, you know, I'll swatch all of them actually. That's what I will do. So we've got like the peachy one, the light kind of beigey gold, then another more bronzy, and then a kind of brown. And yeah, I just don't really use them. So where do I stand on these? I'm just going to take a look in the light over here. I kind of just feel like they could all go. Because, like, I feel that these kind of shades are already in my eyeshadow palettes. Like, if I want a brown shimmer of any shade, I can find it in an existing palette. One of the reasons that I did keep these was because I thought I should find, like, I should have a range of highlighters for my partner's skin tone, because he's quite a lot deeper than me and likes when I do his makeup sometimes, say for parties. But really what I should do is just actually, when he gets home, I will test out all of those and find which one actually suits him, if any. Maybe none of them do, and potentially keep that one and keep it like in his stash. We'll see. Anyway, because oftentimes when I do like party makeup for him, it's kind of more colorful anyway. He's not really interested in the highlighter, so I don't know that I even need to keep something like that. So I'll take these and put them in the Declutter palette for the moment. And then, fuck it, this one, so lackluster. This is such an odd thing because this is a Glaminatrix shadow, and Glaminatrix is normally like beautiful, like incredible shadows. This one is weirdly like much finer and less soft and squishy. This one's more powdery. It is a gold to pink duochrome, and it reminds me very much of, I'll show you this shadow, Hot Toddy, this one. But this one is better, so I don't need both. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be keeping the gingerbread palette, especially because I've, you know, messed it up in so many ways by like frankening and replacing shadows and gouging other ones out. So it's not the kind of palette I would now pass along to someone. But yeah, basically I think that that shadow from Glaminatrix, it's called Euphoria, which also I really like that word. Like, even from years and years ago, I always thought that was quite a beautiful word. So that attracted me to that shade, but it's just not that special. So yeah, that one could go. Then I have a red and like a kind of muted, dusty, almost like a mauvey red here. So both of these were mattes from the Colourpop Strawberry Shake palette. And what I did with that palette was basically just pop out all the shadows and treat them as singles. And now, yeah, I think I'm happy to keep both. I imagine some of you listening might know this feeling, but with this shadow, I don't feel that I actually have a really clear idea in my mind of what this shadow looks like. Like, you know, when you haven't used something enough and you're kind of like, oh, I think I know how it applies, but I'm not too sure, because I know that this is relatively true to the color in the pan. However, it does lean pink, whereas I have other reds that lean slightly truer red. And this, I think, is much sheerer. So even though it looks like darker, I don't think it ends up translating that way that much on the eye. In any case, I would like to get to know that shade a bit better. And then lastly down here, I wasn't going to turn this into a swatch party, but I'm just going to like swatch this one because I think that's quite beautiful. That is the closest thing that I have to a true metallic red, which actually, as I say it, you can tell it's not even exactly true metallic red. This is more like a pinky undertone, like a hot pink leaning into red. But I like that. I'm going to keep that. This one can go. This one was another one that I kind of just bought for the shade name. And in a weird way as well, because I normally don't go for astrology themed stuff. But back when Colourpop did those single compacts that came with each of the star signs represented as an eyeshadow, this was Scorpio. And like, of course it's Scorpio. This is the classic Scorpio color. It's always like, everything I ever read about Scorpio is like smoldering, mysterious, snarky, leather and chilly, and like this is exactly what I'd expect, and I don't like it. It's relatively lackluster. It's too dark really for me to find it easy to use. It can go. Bye-bye. So I'm happy with all of these. I'd like to make, I think this is Look, it's unfortunate that this has kind of gotten a bit messed up when I've cleaned it with rubbing alcohol, because all of these details were originally like a bright gold. This was the 2021 Lunar New Year empty palette, which I did buy empty. I didn't buy it with any of the shades in it. And I feel because the packaging is red and gold, I'd like it to be like a little red shadow palette, but I don't have that many red singles, so I'll see what else I can put in there. Anyway, these three are keepers for me. Okay, next up we have my green palette that I just fixed up today. So this palette I dropped in December last year. Basically, yeah, it shattered, a lot of the shades shattered, and I just filmed a little reel fixing all of those shadows today. Now this one I'm gonna declutter. This is also a Femme Fatale shadow, and the reason I bought a few shadows from Femme Fatale was because Color Endeavor on Instagram had talked about really enjoying them, and I should have kind of known that her preferences are not so similar to mine anyway, based on what she puts up. But she just makes such beautiful videos, really stunning eye looks and photos. I mean to say sort of reels is what I meant by videos. So I think this shadow does look quite beautiful. I haven't been checking to see if any of these shadows have been focusing, but hopefully it does. So it's kind of like a dark purple, like a muted dark purple base with a green shift. But what I find is that I have this shade in a better, more interesting formula down here from Tammy Tanuka. So like if you look at the two of these, I'll stand up so I can see. Are these focusing? Yeah. So what you can, okay, so at this angle, come on, focus. At this angle, the Tammy Tanuka shadow, you can see more of that pink shift, but it also has, I'm gonna see, can I get it? I'm trying. I promise you, it also has that exact same green shift in certain lights. But basically the Tammy Tanuka shadow is more pigmented, a kind of creamier formula, less powdery, and it has two shifts. So it has like a pink kind of shift as well as that green shift that you can see here. So I'm going to keep this shadow and get rid of this one. Okay, so back to the greens. Let's see. I think, yeah, this one's obviously stunning. This is Terra Moons. What are you? Terra Moons Light Year, one of the kind of indie darlings. This is Pretties for Your Face Eliza, which is really nice. I think these two are kind of quite similar. Like, I don't know how much that's the case on screen at the moment, but when I was cleaning up the rubble, you know, that was the mess that was in here when I was repairing it today, I noticed that like when the chunks of it were kind of outside of the pan, these two did look very similar, but this is so much nicer. And maybe I'll demonstrate. I'll do some swatches here, but basically that's Pretties for Your Face Eliza, and this is Prisma Palette. I want to say Sage, is that right? No, Pistachio. Sage is the matte that I bought with it. Okay, there you can kind of see. Now I feel that this pistachio color is kind of close to the Natasha Denona retro shade of green that people have been, I guess, talking about in the last couple of months since that palette and previously the mini palette were out. I'm pretty sure, is it Retro Glam? Is that right? But yeah, I feel that kind of like silvery grayish green, this one, yeah, just reminds me of that. But really, I don't actually like that color that much, and I just don't think I need to keep it when I have something similar that I like more. So I think this one can go. Whew. All right, I feel that one's been on my mind for a while, so it does feel good to be a bit more decisive about it. Now I'm happy with everything else here. I will say this shadow is a dud. It just is. It's another odd case where I love the vast majority of my Glaminatrix singles, and I do have a lot because I'm in Australia, so they are my main go-to indie eyeshadow company. This is Glaminatrix. This is one of their most recent mattes. It is Smog, which was classic. There we go. That's Smog, and this one is Algae. And Algae, for whatever reason, is like crumbly, dry, and gritty when all their other mattes are like buttery soft, pigmented as hell. This one stains my skin yellow, and it goes on quite yellow. Like, it actually doesn't translate as super green, and I don't know if that's a me and my skin undertone thing or if it's this shade and its performance. But what, you know, having said all of that, I'm like, should I just get rid of it? I really love that color though, and I don't have an alternative single. Maybe what I'll do is kind of put it in that declutter pile, just double check if I have something similar when I go through those at the end, because if because I recently bought this P. Louise matte giant kind of rainbow palette, if there's an identical shade in there and it performs better, I might declutter this. However, I will keep it until I have a better alternative if I happen to not have an alternative at the moment. I hope that made sense. Everything else in here I'm happy with. This, I mean, okay, yeah, to address the elephant in the room, or the, you know, tiny shiny pan in the room, pretty much all of this shadow fell out onto my floor, so that's why I barely was able to save any. It is Alchemy from Cloud Chaser Cosmetics, which is the other kind of Australian indie single shadow brand that I am aware of, and it's beautiful. It's like a very bright green, and I am bummed to have lost most of it. But on the other hand, I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, well, how often would I use that? And how often would I use a lot of it? And actually, even though this is like a 1/10, I reckon, of the original quantity, I actually think that's enough to last me, like, realistically with my normal usage. Like, unless I was trying to use it heaps or something, with normal usage, this is going to last me easily over a year anyway. I don't think I'm going to finish it. It just goes to show standard eyeshadows, I think, are larger than what I need them to be. I don't know to what extent everyone else feels that way. But anyway, I digress. These are my green shadows. These can all stay. Let's continue on. Okay, next up we have, this is obviously a Colourpop palette. I put little Gudetama stickers all over it because he is my favorite Sanrio character. And I do love how this looks all together. So this is obviously like my pink, orange, yellow single shadows. A lot of these, you can tell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are from the Strawberry Shake palette. As I said, the singles that I took out. And already I can see, I'm going to swatch these just to test that what I'm thinking is accurate. I think this is in view. Let me stand up, I'll get a better angle. Okay, so I'm gonna just see this one and this one. This one I panned and then had to repress because it broke. This one's like called a pressed pigment, and this one's a pressed eyeshadow. And I think this one does perform, as you'd expect, less intensely than the pressed pigment. But I'm just gonna see. Yeah, I feel I don't need both of these. Like, to me that's similar enough that I don't need both. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Bye-bye. Oh wow, okay, interesting. I was just noticed that my declutter pile looks kind of like a cool palette. Anyway, so I think this one is also one I don't use very often. However, I don't think I have anything similar. I'll probably keep that because that is like my only like Barbie pink shimmer. Yeah, I think that's a keeper. All right, I have a very pigmented hot pink, a Barbie pink shimmer, a really amazing unique shadow. What is this one? Unexplainable by Shine by SD, which is about right. Although, not to be a wanker, but I have thought before, I'd almost rather it be called inexplicable. I like that word better. But anyway, it's beautiful. I kind of have too many of these too many of this type of shade. So maybe I'll put that as a possible declutter. Just like this peachy gold flip color, I've accidentally bought multiple times from multiple brands, like being, you know, actually being kind of the core shadow or one of the core shadows that I would use. It doesn't, I guess it shouldn't be surprising that I've bought it over and over by accident. But anyway, this is 83 from Tammy Tanuka, and I'll put it as a possible declutter, and I'll see at the end how I feel about that. I think I'm going to keep this matte. I think it's one that translates deeper on me than I expect it to. Something about it, like I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, it's really pale. But like, actually it is not. That's not that pale. Do you know what I mean? That's like a mid peach. Despite that, I do think it's nice, and it's good to have peach as a single rather than in a palette where most of all my other peaches are, because I have a lot of peachy palettes. This color, oh yeah, they don't, right, it's from a palette, so it's not under there. This color is my perfect lower lash line shadow. This gives slightly like wet under eye look. I know that doesn't sound very appealing, but like maybe about to cry, but not in a sad way. It just kind of like, I just think a shimmer on the lower lash line is beautiful and ethereal, and this is my perfect shade for it. I think that's all I'll say. I'm definitely going to keep Good Day. This is definitely like a hot runner for my all-time favorite single shadow, and I will swatch it because I do whenever this comes up in videos, but I'm going to swatch that here. Do you see, isn't it just like so incredibly beautiful? The way I describe it is that it looks like it's always catching sunset light. I don't know if you'll agree, but I just think it's so beautiful. Also a Glaminatrix shadow. Next up, this shade is one that I would consider decluttering if I had anything similar. But at the moment, it's the only thing that fills the orange shimmer kind of hole in my life. The shade name has actually rubbed off. It's from Enchanted Lustre Cosmetics. I want to say it's like mango nectar or mango juice, something like that. It is like not the most amazing orange, but it is a really beautiful shade of orange, so I will keep that. This is my most metallic kind of limey leaning yellow, which I love. My yellow matte, like very true, slightly warm yellow matte, also adore. And this pastel yellow, I wasn't sure about these because these are like from the Glaminatrix Easter collection. I'll just pop that there. And the thing is, all of the Easter shadows are like a pastel color with a gold flip. And actually, I think in this case, because it's already yellow and golden yellow are like almost the same thing, I would say. This just does read as like a proper pastel yellow metallic, whereas a lot of the other Glaminatrix Easter collection singles I find don't really show the base color that much at all. They just show this like really bright pale gold flip. So I'm not sure if I'll keep the others, but I'm definitely going to keep this one. Yeah, so that's where I've landed for this palette. Moving on. I'm leaving the biggest one till last, you can tell. Now this palette, as you can see, is a DIY kind of Hogwarts inspired palette that I made. I guess just wanting to kind of embrace the fantasy and the world that, you know, gives me a lot of nostalgia, without, you know, supporting the author. But here, I'll open it up. Basically, what I've done is I put these little stickers, but really what I need to do is like use a teeny tiny label maker to actually print these, because you can't read for shit what the shade names are that I gave all these shadows. But anyway, considering, so this is kind of, to me, it sits both in the single shadow and in the palette category, because it is, you know, made up of single shadows, but I really don't normally take them out of this, like unless I was specifically building a kind of BYOP custom palette for something. I would normally keep all of these shadows here, whereas the rest of my shadows I keep categorized by color. Because yeah, this is kind of my Hogwarts inspired color story. And in any case, I'm going to treat them here as singles. And what I will say is keep, because this is a dark red. Unlike Scorpio here, you can kind of see the difference. This is more red. It is also more squashy and pigmented. It actually looks like it's slightly coming out of the pan. I'm just going to give it a bit of a press back in. This happens quite a lot with these squashier shadows. Anyway, there we go. I think, yeah, you can see it's a beautiful, rich red. Then we've got these two mattes are both from Prisma Palette. And I bought the two of these at the same time that I bought this pistachio shadow. So I'm pretty sure this is ginger, sage, and pistachio. And I just, like, I love the shade names and that they are all kind of culinary names that actually go with the color that they are. So that's where, like, part of me in a sentimental way wants to hold on to the shadow, but I just don't think I'm going to use this. Whereas in the matte form, I might. Like, it is possible that I will actually get some use out of it, I guess is what I see it as. But yeah, I think I will keep the matte. Actually, let's swatch it out as well. I'm gonna pop it here. Yeah, like, look, it is also that tone of green that I said I don't like. However, you know what, actually, if I did get rid of it, let me take a look. If I got rid of it, I would be popping this in its place, which is kind of interesting. It feels a little less Hogwartsy. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I should do that. How about I'll also swatch this one. This is Tea Garden from Colourpop, another shade that I dropped and had to repress. I'm kind of running out of space here. I'll go here. So this is Tea Garden, which has, like, it's like that, you know, reddy or ruddy base with a green flip. And let me swatch out both of those greens then to see, because I guess what's happening right now is that I am having a hard time seeing this as single shadows and not as a palette, because I'm so happy with how this turned out as a palette, you know. However, I don't really need to be keeping shadows that I don't use, right? So that's the whole idea of this declutter. See, I'm so much more attracted to this kind of tone, like this khaki color, than this grayed out green. I think I should get rid of that. Okay, I'm just gonna try and be decisive about it and get rid of it. I'm gonna pop that out. Okay. And I will pop that in to replace it, which I think still looks good as a palette. It's a little brighter now. Like, I feel that this makes it a little grungier and murkier, but I do like this. I'm trying to think if there's any other color that I would substitute in, but I don't think there is. Nope. Okay, we'll pop that also into the, well, I'm running out of space now. I'm going to start stacking them into the declutter pile. I'm definitely going to keep ginger because I think that's a really beautiful warm yellow. I actually accidentally bought, here, I'll show you guys. I bought a dupe of it recently, or not, you know, a few months ago. And like, look at that. What have I done? Like, I just felt so ridiculous when I realized I've basically bought the exact same color. So I haven't even opened this, and I am not going to. I'm going to give that one away. I don't even consider it part of my collection, really. That's Entangled from Colourpop. So I'm keeping this. Tea Garden, I think, can stay. It's not like, it's nothing to blow your mind, but it is nice. Like, here you can see it is pretty. It's very like work appropriate as well, like easy to wear. The only thing that makes me, actually, I'm just going to take a quick look what it would look like to have this in here instead. Okay, no, that's a step too far. We're straying away too far from the source inspiration. No, that's fine. This can stay. This is another Terra Moons shadow, one of the like really iconic ones. I can't remember, but it is just gorgeous. This is obviously like the best shadow in this palette. You know, you can basically see that. This is a repressed Too Faced shadow from a palette that I had that had two really similar mattes in it. So I pressed this one to be a single instead, and it works really nicely with Tea Garden. It has that same reddish base. Then this one's got a really cool shade name, doesn't it? Let me take a look. This is from Pretty's For Your Face as well, and it is Golden Aries. Very cool name, but it's like a very pale yellow that has a slight, I think red shift, but like very subtle. Yeah, okay. So here you can see that's the Glaminatrix pastel yellow, and next to it is like this less yellowy and I guess more almost like a highlighty color, champagne with a pink flip. That is Golden Aries. I think I will keep that. Let me just take a look how it would go with like a yellower yellow. Again, it just goes too much. I think I don't want it to be so saturated, this little palette. So I will keep that for the sake of keeping it kind of muted. This is basically like a sheer base with a blue shift, like your classic blue highlighter there. It's very pretty, very easy. I will keep that. Yeah. I actually have like a shit version of this shadow in a different palette. Let me show you. So I can talk some crap. This shade, you know the one, Seafoam, right? You can tell. Can you see the hard pan on this shade? It's so crap. You cannot use your finger with this shade. And I use my finger most of the time with most shimmers. So this is so garbage. I almost want to scrape it out. Maybe I will, haven't really decided yet. I did scrape out Olympia because I used it for a Franken shadow and then replaced it with Asteroid by Pretty's For Your Face, which is what this is. Anyway, I think tangent, but basically Seafoam here is like the same as this color, except this is actually good. This is, I believe, also Pretty's For Your Face. Yeah. And then we've got this color, which I will swatch as well. I'll swatch it over here. So that is, let's see, what does that look like on camera? Oh, so pretty, far out. Okay, that looks stunning on camera. I mean, not that it doesn't in real life, but I feel it's really like picking up. That is also from the Glaminatrix Easter collection. I feel like I'm talking about them so much, but that is because they make up a pretty big proportion of my single shadows. And it's beautiful. I think it goes nicely in this palette. And yeah, I think that one can stay. Maybe I'll end up just keeping all of that Easter collection anyway, because they are so nice. We will see. So no, I think I'm happy with this. Okay, so I'm going to pop this away. And we're on to the last one. Now, maybe I'll take a quick moment to clean off my fingers before starting this. Okay, so this is all of my, I guess, pink, purple, blue shadows. Now in here, stunning, stunning. This is a maybe. This is also a maybe. What else do I have going on? Oh God, this is also, I guess, a maybe. How far am I on camera? Here we go. There, tight. All right. Wait, do you want the light? Okay. And then, to be honest, this is kind of also a maybe. I never really use it, but it feels, this is another one of these colors where I'm like, it would be wrong to declutter the only turquoise shadow that I own, right? Doesn't that just feel like the wrong thing to do? But who's to say that it is, right? Like if I don't wear that shadow, should it just go? I'm not sure. Anyway, oh yeah, this shadow should probably go. it is quite bad. This is good, this is good. They are maybe too similar. Let's take a look. I mean, yeah. No, I don't know. Oh, they're similar, but I think I will keep both. Fuck it. I think I like both. And I like both these companies. They're both Australian. This is Eccentric Cosmetics, Jacaranda. And this is Glaminatrix in Periwinkle. And this is Peritwinkle. Very cute, of course. I guess this is also a maybe. And this is a going away one because I don't like it. Or it's going to be repurposed as a blush. Let's see. Okay, I actually have quite a lot of these going on. I might just pop all of these down and then I'll talk about them in a moment, and I'll just keep going through what's in the palette. So this one might also be going. This one's a maybe as well. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, cool. Now, let's get to it. Let's take a look. How gorgeous are these all together though? Don't they just look so beautiful? Oh, okay. I'm a bit covered, so I'm gonna take all of this off and then get to swatching some of these. All right, now I am back with a almost clean arm for swatching, and let's take a look. So this one is like very soft, a very bright kind of highlighter shadow. Let's see. I mean, that is really pretty. I don't even know exactly what to call, like, what color is this? What is this? Like, it looks pink in the pan, but like, is the base color is basically white. That's not even iridescent. It's like, as in, it's not a sheer base, that's a white base with mostly a green kind of color and maybe a pink at the edge, like here. Anyway, it's so pretty, but I'm just not sure. Anyway, okay, that's a maybe. I think this one can go because it's just such a basic, uninteresting color and formula. Then the only thing that I'm thinking is like, this is, okay, let's put them head to head. This is the next baby pink. I think for a while I was looking for like, oh no, yeah, for a while I was looking for the best rose gold and I accidentally bought this one thinking it would be rose gold when it's actually baby pink. So let's take a look. These three shadows are all baby pink in the pan, but this one reads as very gold because it's one of those Glaminatrix Easter shadows. This one is kind of more like textured, I guess. And this one is the smoothest one. Part of me just wants to get rid of all three. Maybe I'll do that and then just double check that I actually do have something like this somewhere in my palette collection. Because I'd rather not be like completely without that color if I do want it. Oh yeah, and whoops, I should also swatch this one, which is like a slightly darker pink. See, that feels maybe a bit, do I need that? No, I don't. This is really hard, but like, actually now that I have them on my hand, this can go. I don't like it. Let's see, this can go as well because it's too similar to all the other Easter collection shadows. Now, out of these two, I mean, I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. I don't like that kind of crispy formula anyway. Maybe what I will just quickly do is compare this to that green highlight I talked about at the beginning. Oh yeah, lol. Fucking, are you for real? Like, it just like does, okay, no, I mean, yeah, I get it as like a highlighter, but not as a shadow, which it says it is. This is a bit bullshit, you know? Okay. Okay. I'm just finding this quite beautiful on my hand swatch. And so I'm compelled to keep this and to get rid of this, because I will just side note say I have that pressed into here. So I don't really need to keep both of these. If someone else happened to get use out of this, maybe they could use it better. I will get rid of this. Okay. This is still, I just really don't know what to do about that. Okay, then this blue, really lackluster. The only reason I keep it is because it looks nice in BYOPs, but I don't use it because it's shit. It's not like a shimmer, it's kind of a satin. This is Quantum Sleep. I love that shade name. Quantum Sleep, like, fuck, that's cool. That's from Colourpop. But it has to go. It has to go. Does it have to go? Let's see. Yeah, it really does. I don't think I can work with that. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm a bit uncertain about that one. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the declutter pile and we'll come back to it. I'm just uncertain because it's a beautiful color, but it's just kind of not giving what I would want it to give. I think even if I layer it up, it still won't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't shine, and if I were to layer and like a highlighter of the top for shine, I feel it would change the tone too much. It wouldn't be like a true dark shine, it'd be like a dark color with a light shine. Do you know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna swatch out this turquoise as well. Let's see. See, that's better. That packs a punch. That's like actually so intense. Classic Glaminatrix, killing it. Yeah, look. I think that one I'll keep. I'm just like off camera here, like shifting my arm around in the light, trying to make decisions. I think I'll keep that one because it actually performs well. So even though this is not a shadow I would use often, for the rare occasion that I want a turquoise, I'm gonna keep that. It could look really good as a graphic eye as well, I think. Now, this I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of. The only thing that's keeping me is the idea of using it as like a blush topper slash highlighter. Because you can see it's just like, it's subtle. It doesn't have a lot of shine, but it has that kind of pinky, purpley reflect. This is Earth Shine from Colourpop. And I don't know whether they had like multiple versions of this formula or if it's just that some people obviously really like this kind of finish. I'll just see if I can get it to focus up close. Can I? Yeah, there we go. It's just like not that good. Anyway, so this, yeah, Earthshine. Do I want to keep it as like a blush topper? Look, I'll consider if I want to franken it into something, but I don't think I do. I think it can just go. Yeah, I think. Wow, this is getting a bit more than I thought would happen. This is actually like proper like ruthless declutter. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, I'm gonna, this is my least dirty finger, let's see. All right. I'm gonna go here. Okay. Do you see what I mean? That like this one, this yellowy looking one, and this one, I feel that the shift just takes over and you don't get the base. Like, I don't think I get the purple base coming through with that shadow. Like, it's beautiful, but I think it's too similar. Like, for example, to the blue with the shift that I have in here. Like, I think in reality, these two shadows will look very similar on the eye because they're just a slightly cooler base with a warm champagne flip. So I think that one can go hopefully to a good home. This one I'll keep. I'll pop it back. And then, why am I so stuck on this? It's just, I mean, I wonder if this could be a nice like highlighter, or is it too crazy to be a highlighter? I'm gonna swatch out I'm gonna clean my fingers, and then what I'm gonna do is compare this to the highlighters that I have in the Tammy Tanuka Witch's Bath palette, which I think of as a highlighter palette as well as like an eyeshadow palette, because although it was sold as an eyeshadow palette, I can use almost all of these as highlighters as well, because they're basically just rainbow iridescence. This one I've popped out at the moment, but I just want to compare this to the green one. Okay, I'm gonna, there we go, take a look and see how that, oh, is that the green? Yeah, it is. I'm gonna see how that compares. I'll just pop it here. Oh yeah, it's a very different kind of green. I'll compare it to the aqua as well, which might as well while I'm here. I'm gonna squeeze this in here. Yeah, very different. Okay, interesting. I think I'll keep it for now. I'm just gonna put it on the declutter pile, and then I'll bring that over and just sort that shit out. Okay, because this is so much more than I was expecting. What the hell? This is a little crazy. Okay, so I guess this is what happens when you don't declutter any single eyeshadows for ages, because you low-key hoard them thinking maybe it'll be used for a Frankenshadow, or maybe you'll use it, you know, on your mate who wants their makeup done. Like, this is what happens. I'm gonna go through and just double check to feel, I guess, confident about this selection. Okay, I'm realizing there's not like the most sun anymore because it is evening now, but hopefully this will turn out okay, and I'll try and get through it relatively quickly so that we still have enough light to be able to see everything. So what I'm gonna do is grab a couple of my palettes and do some comparing of the shadows that are in this pile compared to what I own already in palettes, because yeah, I don't have a lot of palettes, so none of them are currently on the chopping block. So I'm gonna take a look at this. Like, this is so big, does not fit in frame. It's the P. Louise palette that I mentioned, and I'm gonna see if I have this green in there, and if so, that green can go, and if not, I will be keeping it. Okay, so I'll just take that out, move everything aside for the moment. Okay, let's see. Oh, excuse, that's like a between these two shadows, I guess. Is that a match? That's the question. Okay, let's swatch them out. I'm gonna swatch this one. Already, like, this feels so much softer. They're not super pigmented, these ones, but they feel nicer. I'll swatch this one, and let's take a look. All right, and then I'll pop this one in the middle. Okay, well, this looks so yellow on camera. Like, so yellow. That doesn't even look green at all. Does that even look a bit chartreuse? Like, no. Okay, obviously this one is closer than that one. I'll just maybe build that up a bit more and see how close that gets. Yeah, like, admittedly, even this odd kind of dud Glaminatrix single is still better than these P. Louise shadows, like, in terms of being, well, it's more pigmented, I should say. I'm just going to take a look at this in a different light and see what I think. Okay, no, the verdict is I'm going to keep this Glaminatrix single. Part of me even wants to rebuy this exact one because I feel like I got a dud. And I should really say I bought it from a reseller. So, like, maybe they kept it in, like, bizarrely incorrect conditions or got it wet or something. Maybe something happened. Anyway, I'm going to keep this pending, you know, if I ever have another single that replaces it. But for now, I'll keep it. Okay, what else did I want to check? I did want to see Yeah, look, I feel that, where are we? Down here. I feel that this is already enough for me to say, if I want a dark blue eye look, I can achieve it, and I don't need it to be a satin. I can just use a matte. I don't think I will specifically, like, I would love this maybe as an eyeliner, but I don't think it's going to perform the way I want, even if I tried to make this perform that way. So this one can go. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. Part of me wants to franken this. So I think I will keep this for frankening purposes and see if I maybe make a purple blush out of it. Yeah, so this one can stay, but I'm going to treat it as a face product now. But yeah, why do I have this open? I think I'm done with that. Now, bringing this back, so we're decluttering the blue, and I might divide it into like shit shadows versus good ones that I just am not sure about keeping. So I'll do that. Well, like not actually shit, but like not my preference. This is hilarious. I feel like look at that. Look at this color story I've built. Like, look at that. There's your Natasha Denona Retro. Clearly I wouldn't like that palette, seeing as I'm chucking out like everything that looks like it. Anyway. Yeah, lol. Look at me go. Okay, the pink. It's redundant. This I might keep. So these are the ones I'm kind of iffy about. These I'm more decisive about. These I'm all pretty decisive about. The only thing is that I do want this square pan. So I'm gonna like probably scrape this contents out and either just bin it or I'll press it into it. Like, I think I'll just bin it. This is not that good or that interesting or unique. So I'm gonna keep that square pan to use. Maybe put this in here and treat it as a cheek product and see how that goes. Put these over to the side. Now, let's take a look. Like, my hope was to be able to get rid of like just one palette full of stuff. Clearly I've ended up with more. This is almost like surprisingly kind of cohesive together, isn't it? Right? Like, not bad. There you go. I'm tempted to keep this purple because I know it also looks really nice on the lower lash line. So I might do that. I might bring this one back in. And then if it's something that I don't end up wearing much, I will like actually get rid of it. This was so pretty, I'm gonna keep it. And this one, I was more like, I have too many of these. But because it's Tammy Tanuka, I'm so like precious about those shadows. I think I'll keep it. I think so. Because it is just so pretty. Here, I'll show you. Beautiful. I think it is probably more impactful than like, what I was thinking of is that like in this palette, for example, this is basically the same color, but like a shittier formula of it. I could even just ditch this one and squash this one in to make it a better palette. But you see what I mean? Like, same color, different levels of impact. The Tammy Tanuka one's better, so I'm gonna keep it. And then now these three don't fit in this palette, which is kind of annoying. Let me take a look if there's anything at all that I'm uncertain about. Let's see. No, I mean, I think I'm good. Yeah, I definitely want to get rid of this one as well. And, oh God, do I want this chunky little pink? Like, no, I do not. I don't. Don't want it. And this blue, yeah, it can go. How am I going to give these away? I mean, that's the next question. Like, I don't want to get rid of any of my other palettes. This one was the one that I was prepared to give away. But I feel that I can give this like as a whole palette. But these three, I don't know. Hopefully I'll find someone who already has a magnetic palette and they can take them. Let's take a look. Maybe what I'll do, oh right, I could also just like bin some of these. This one I feel is pretty binnable because it's like already deeply scraped out, and so is this one. Maybe that's enough to then make space for the rest. And then the hot pink, like, whoever wants this would surely own a magnetic palette already, right? Is that a fair assumption if I throw these two out? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna say I think this is what I am gonna get rid of. This is my declutter pile. Again, more than I thought it would be, but that's a good thing. And I'll just keep these on top for the time being. And let's see, then I'll put that to the side. I think what I will do now, I will rearrange my eyeshadows and then show you what they look like now. Okay, so I have turned the light on, which might change things a little bit in terms of how they're looking. But basically where I'm at now is that I have this. I'm probably going to put the purple in here. And then I have just 3 in here, which looks a little sad. Like I do want to fill this up with other shadows, but I'll just kind of let that happen organically, or maybe try and rearrange to make an interesting color story. This one, my greens are a little smaller than before, but still looking good. My Hogwarts palette, actually now that I look at it, I can't declutter that matte green. It just goes too much. Like this goes with that other green. I'm gonna have to keep it just for that. Like I normally, yeah, as I said, like I mostly do see single shadows as a bit more utilitarian, but I think in this instance, it is whimsical. It is more of like a little art project than anything else, and I think I will keep it intact in that way. So I'll pop this back into my greens palette, which I do quite like it, this little row here. And then I've got my peachy orangey yellow palette. You'll remember I did take this one out, and I've popped this in here because even though it has the slightest bit of a more cool undertone than the rest of this, I think it fits in better here than it did in here. Now this one looks like not as kind of incredible as it did before because it was mostly filled up, but anyway, I think I can rearrange it and make it look a bit nicer. I've just popped these 2 in here temporarily because what I think I'll do is get rid of the shadow entirely, because it's just like giving nothing in my opinion. And I will squish this in here, maybe franken it with something else to make it like a bit more pigmented for a blush, and then use it in that little quad that I made. So those are all of my singles as we currently stand. And then the ones I'm decluttering will be, I'll rearrange this a bit, hey. Let's go like that. Oop. And how about that? Yeah, I think these will be the ones I will be getting rid of, plus this little hot pink and this kind of other pink. Yeah, there you go. Definitely more of a declutter than I was expecting to do, but I hope that that was fun to watch. These are all the shadows that will be leaving me. Goodbye. Oh, I think it will be nice, yeah, just clearing things out a bit. And I'll probably do a full eyeshadow inventory soon with all of the palettes as well. So yeah, look forward to seeing you then, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. Hello again. So you saw where I ended up with the declutter. I ended up changing my mind about just a couple of things. So even though I was very clear about this green, where are we? This green shadow, I did end up keeping it because like literally right after I'd done that video, I saw some posts like with like these sagey olive eye looks, and I recreated it using this palette, which is really beautiful. But this ended up turning out a bit too like yellow toned and not actually that sagey or muted. So I ended up going over that with the other single to kind of achieve the look I was going for, and realized, okay, I don't have an alternative for that one in my collection, so I am going to keep it. The other thing was I ended up, I think, throwing out 2 singles that were like shadows that I repressed years ago from a Pixie palette into single pans. I just thought, okay, I need to make space and make everything fit in here, because I didn't want to end up with like extra singles. I just wanted everything in one palette. It's easier to store until I can find the right person to give this to. So basically this is what I ended up with. Hopefully you can see that. So this is the final set of 12 shadows that I'm decluttering along with this palette. So it's a combination of, or a mixture of Colourpop, Glaminatrix, Pixie shadows that I pressed into pans, and 1 shadow from Femme Fatale Cosmetics. So yeah, this is what I ended up with. I'm gonna see if any of my friends want it. If not, maybe pop it online. I am feeling better about my collection having gone through all of this, and I hope it was fun to watch. I really hope so. I know I really ummed and ahed about quite a few things there, but hopefully it was a good time, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.